Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And all the way from the land of the rising sun, finally with us, live back in the studio from Japan, Ron Keller.
What's happening? Konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu for everyone in the
morning,
listening to this in the morning.
Well, there you go. That was our intro. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Brewtiful Game.
See you next week.
See you next week. Yeah, sorry we had to take a week off. It was a little crazy. And with Ron in Japan and I think Ferris and I's schedule, we decided to. And plus it was an international break, so we kind of took our own little international break.
International break, a lot going on at work.
International break sucks when the U.S. is no longer involved.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It's not just the U.S. There are a lot of notable teams that are not in the World Cup this year. And a lot of very surprising teams like Tunisia.
Chile out. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, there's the first dad joke of the pod, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man, I got to get him in because in 1 week,
I
will be a dad as of this recording. If the baby doesn't come, it could come any day now, but the latest it'll be Monday.
Yeah.
In a week. Just got real on this pod. Real.
That means we're all going to get liquored up tonight. And then we're all going to
move furniture around.
And then we're going to move furniture around and go, why does this look awful? Why is a crib upside down?
Or you're going to have to call the ambulance because tonight is when she'll...
nobody can drive the tanker.
No one can drive, so we'll have to take the ambulance. Yeah. A bunch of drunk soccer fans in the back of the ambulance.
So I guess before we get to Premier League and soccer discussion, we have to do the beer, which is weird because this day you two guys picked the beer instead of one guy, right?
It was a collaborative
effort. It was a collaborative effort.
So so I had an idea for a theme, and then Ferris in his post drunkenness yesterday found a beer while I was out, while we were out, and was like, oh my God, I've got to get this. Please, can I do your beer tomorrow? Please, can I? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, if I don't find anything, yeah, you can, but I really like this. I want to do this beer. Can I do this beer? Do you mind? Like, it was amazing. So, but I ended up finding most of the beers for my theme. And so today we're going to do a podcast record 4 beers in this podcast.
With Christmas, I did 3, right?
I think 3 is the max we've done.
That's
I did
as
3
much
once.
as we've done.
Yeah, you did 3 once.
Right, and then our opening episode,
4.
we did the...
Right.
Well, but they were all separate. Well, no, because Ferris did an homage to our first episode, and we all had the 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
all right.
It's 4 beers. Dun, dun, dun.
And they have a theme?
Well, yes, the theme is so it's Blake's Beer-a-Palooza in honor of you being a soon-to-be dad.
And then the dad jokes will actually...
Yeah. And she'll star on the pod because our studio is across the hall.
Yep. So at some point we'll have to pause it, and I'm nearest the door, so I'm probably going to get the most...
That's going to be a thing that happens. It used to be that we heard Tucker bark. Now he's
barking and crying.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm excited for Blake's Beer-a-Palooza.
Blake's Beer-a-Palooza. So each one has a little story. This is on the pod before. We have mentioned our one of our super cool friends who got us into beers. This kid named Jason, who's brilliant beer guy. We'd mentioned him before on the pod and how we used to run around and
he was our first beer guru.
Yeah, and we would bring food. He would bring the beer.
Back in '03.
Oh God, when we were like babies. So this one is one of the first.
We were cool babies if we were drinking beer.
Like that, what is that cartoon, The Boss Baby?
The Boss Baby, yeah.
Or the little baby in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. Bring me my stogie.
Smoking a cigar, yeah.
Hey, Toots, bring me my stogie. So this one is a new beer and new brewery to the pod, but it is one of the first beers that, or actually one of the first breweries that Blake and I got hammered on at this kid Jason's house.
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, as soon as I see it, I'm going to remember, but I can't even. Because those back in the '03 days, those were not. We did not prolifically have as much access to craft brew. So what existed back then that might not exist
Been
now?
around for a while.
Maybe some old Belgian-y? Oh, a little DuPont?
Nope.
Was it close?
No.
No, not even geographically close.
Well, geographically, maybe.
Little Saint Bernardus?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
So we got to get out of there. Is it American?
Nope.
It's German.
No.
It's Italian. It's French.
Italian beer.
I don't know. You got some Peroni in there?
No. St. Peter's Brewery.
Oh.
This used to come in a...
This is going to be some Russian Imperial Stout?
Nope. You're still way off on geographic location.
Okay.
But this used to come in a completely different bottle with one of those Grolsch style top lids.
Oh, yeah. The little like resealable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is St. Peter's Brewing Cream Stout.
Oh, dude. This is a classic.
Yep. One of the first beers we got wasted on together. I mean, this was the finishing touch to the night.
Yeah, because we tried so many crazy beers and we were not used to the alcohol content at all.
A rich, black, velvety color coffee and vanilla cream chocolate ale, which is amazing. All those flavors, the vanilla and the chocolate with a bittersweet aftertaste. It's very it's very aromatic stout, and it has 5 different types of local malts. And the hop profile is really pretty good. It wins all kinds of awards.
It should, because it says on the bottle, brewed with skill and patience in one of Britain's finest small breweries. That's a great sentence.
It's St. Peter's Brewing, and it's based in St. Peter, South Elmham.
Elmham.
It's hard to say. Elmham. But they don't.
Elmham.
Right. It's hard to say. And the brewery itself was built in 1996 and is housed in an attractive range of traditional former agricultural buildings adjacent to St. Peter's Hall. They brew traditional beers, bitters, and milds, as well as some more unusual beers like a honey porter and a fruit porter.
Woo.
But I haven't actually seen any of
I like that it says that the water is drawn from a pure source.
Yeah, so they have a well, a natural aquifer well on the site where they brew, and they take all the water from that.
That is awesome.
Pretty cool, man. I'm excited to try it.
St. Peter's Cream Ale. That's the first beer of the pod.
Ooh, I'm excited. And I will. I'm going to have mine out of my Orlando Beer Festival Belgian glass I got as part of our
I've used mine a few times now.
trip
since
to the Orlando Beer Festival VIP tickets we got courtesy of a silent auction where we for the Michael J. Fox Foundation or the Orlando's Pints for Parkinson's. We had a really good time. When we taste this, after we taste this beer, I do want to give a little hit about the beer festival before we move on to the soccer, because that was a pretty cool event. And definitely one that I think we've got to go to next year.
Yes, and we definitely have to do the VIP again, because
Totally
I think as we found out, the VIP was the way to go. We got in early. We get to try some new breweries we haven't tried before, like Sailfish and Rock Brothers, and
some new ones that are about to open and locally around us.
Church.
We're going to talk about that one.
Okay,
we're going to talk about that one. This St. Peter's Cream Stout, by the way, smells like Harvestoon's Old Engine Oil to me.
Does it?
Yeah, a very early beer in our
it does.
beer journey on the pod.
Come along with us now on a
It's
beer
a
journey,
beer journey
of the Brewtiful Game.
It's got it smells very much like the Harvestoon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that thick old engine oil feel to it.
All right, so St. Peter's Cream Stout. Here we go.
Cheers.
Beer-a-Palooza. Cheers,
Awesome.
gentlemen. Or Blake's Beer-a-Palooza. We'll get t-shirts made. Ooh.
So smooth.
You know what? It reminds me, and this is a compliment, of a light old engine oil.
Yeah, the mouthfeel is much lighter.
And for those of you who are new to the pod, Old Engine Oil is Harvestoon's Old Engine Oil Imperial Stout
From Scotland.
Very viscous stout. This is very similar. It just got it's got a lighter like feel.
Also, comparing it slightly to Old Engine Oil, this is a 6.5% beer,
More drinkable.
right? You don't taste the alcohol as much as Old Engine Oil does.
Not at all.
Delicious. Good call.
That's the first of 4.
It tastes really good in my Orlando Beer Festival VIP glass.
Yeah, we got those tickets at the Fox Foundation.
Yeah, the Pints for Orlando.
Pints for Parkinson's.
Pints for Parkinson Orlando is the Twitter handle. So that's always what I see in my head when I see it. But yeah, they were. We had so much fun. And
blast.
I did want to bring it up. It was cool. We had the VIP tickets. I'm looking here at the little program they gave us. Put on, let's see, 39 breweries. You know what was cool? It's always about the small breweries and stuff, or like breweries you may not have tried, or whatever. Guinness was there, which surprised me.
They also had and
they had a 200 anniversary version of their stout that was completely different tasting. It was kind of cool. So I was like, why is Guinness here? Then we got all excited when we saw. I like Guinness, but you can get it anywhere. So, but it was cool to see there. There were some good breweries, and I just want to mention a couple. I just want to throw a couple out that we were very impressed by. I think some new places that we had never heard of or that are new to coming along. Obviously, some of our favorites like Crooked Can and stuff were there. Sanford Brewing from the local area. But there were other ones like you mentioned Sailfish that were there.
Sailfish down in Fort Pierce.
What was it? Walking Tree? Is that the one?
That was next to the Sailfish tent, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to look there because I want to make sure that I get the name of it right because they had that Sandy Feet.
Oh, yes, that was really good.
Walking Tree Brewery, one of the best Hefeweizens I've ever had. You'd have to look that up. I'm just right now in the little program. I've just got a list of the different companies. It doesn't actually list where they're from. It's just like a little list of everything. And what's really cool in our program is they've got they list the kind of beer and stuff they had. But they had a great American Hefeweizen wheat beer. But I think Ellipsis is one we really want to point out.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 of their beers, and all of them are really good.
Walking Tree is from Vero Beach.
Vero Beach. And what was really cool was how many Florida breweries that I don't think we knew, we were like, holy cow, these are right around us. Some are new. There was a new one from Claremont, Florida that's about to open. This one, Ellipsis, is opening in the Orlando area soon, has not opened yet. You got a gold coin when you got to the festival, and you could basically give your gold coin to by 4 p.m. to whoever you thought was the best brewery, and they won People's Choice Award. We all went with Ellipsis because I think there were other beers that we might have said, oh, this one beer is great or this or what, you know what I mean? But all 4 across were so good, and they had 4 distinct ones. They had, I was like, well, I want to try something. Dude's like, this is also why he won for style. He was like, you going to be here for a second? I said, yeah. All right, son, we're going to start you off with breakfast. And he takes my glass and goes, this is our cold brew espresso stout made with cold brew coffee.
Nice.
Bam. Hands it to me. I drink it. He's like, now. So we got to move you over to breakfast. We had the coffee.
Brunch, right?
We got to move you over to brunch. You need a little OJ. So then he pours a New England style IPA that is so citrusy. It smells like OJ and tastes like beer mimosa. And that is the good thing. Like that is a good it was so good. Then he moves on to your fruit or your salad or whatever. So he had a strawberry stout. And then for dessert, it was a peanut butter brown ale.
That was really tasty.
Oh, they were
really,
so
really
good.
Tasty.
And they just had some good beers across the way. What's the name of the company that did the ciders we liked?
Oh, it was
because I want to make sure we get that right because they very much surprised us.
They're they brew out of Tampa, right?
They do. But
See if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, we had a couple that kind of surprised us.
Bombardment. We sat around and talked to those guys.
Ron, you got to meet the brewmaster from Bombardment Brewery.
Yeah.
He is a science nerd about. He was like, see, most people don't understand, dude. Like, if you start the hop here at this point in the profile, then what's happened is the hop goes to the bottom, and all the oils aren't going to pick up. But if you do this, then all the molecules will grab onto the oil if you do it at this particular time instead of this.
Blew Blake and my brain just
awesome. It was so science nerd. We got to go hang out with those guys again. Again, they're a brewery looking for a home. They are brewing a lot, and it's really good to get recognition, but they actually don't even have a place yet.
Right. I think they said they were trying to get one over by the airport because Bombardment Brewing is based off of one of the guys that founded it. His dad and grandfather were in World War II. And if you don't know, over by the airport over here in Ando, it was a big air base at the time.
Right.
And they
Yeah,
were
McCoy Air Force.
Yeah, exactly. And they were based out of here. So they wanted to have a brewery kind of an homage to that, which is why they call it Bombardment. Their logo was this old plane bomber type plane.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were awesome. And they were so cool. And they had some really fun beers. In fact, they ran out of their beer while we were in line.
Yeah.
So then he reached under the table to give us the special last from
It was like this trial.
No label.
They just were trying it.
And it was like this rhubarb thing or still, it was this crazy like fruited beer. I didn't like, it was really good though, but it caught me off guard. The one we're thinking about for the cider. So Accomplice Brewing and Cider Works. So.
Oh, no. The cider ones was Slim Pickens, Slider and Mead. That was the one that we were.
Is that the one that had
Yes.
the two beer or the two ciders that we just thought were fantastic?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
I'm looking for their names and I do not
I
see
got it
them.
on the
Florida.
site here, yeah.
So Slim Pickens, Nate, say it again.
Slim Pickings, Cider and Mead.
So I think we were all in the mood for beer, not necessarily cider, but I'm up for trying whatever. They had a short line. So I think a lot of beer drinkers were in the same viewpoint. They didn't want to be, boy, they missed out.
Well, and the line it kind of caught our eye because it wasn't like this. It was just a tent with a table and this cooler on top.
It wasn't like big
some taps.
signs
No.
and like, yeah.
And it caught our eye because the people working the tent were standing out in front opposed to behind the table.
Right.
And it was these two girls and they were just having some cider and just talking to
With
each
each
other,
other.
but it looked like they were just having so much fun. So we walked up and we're like,
That's right.
hi, you guys look like you're having fun. Like, have me
Nice.
join? And like, oh yeah. So we just poured us the ciders and it
Was it
really
bottled or
good.
was it out of a tap?
No, it was out of tap and it was two, Ananas and Yo. So the Yo was a blueberry cider.
And then Ananas
And
was the pineapple.
it was really good cider. I think we all kind of thought the blueberry cider would be. It just sounded like that would be good. Like it's the way you described like a cobbler.
Mm-hmm.
No, and then the other one, that was good. Don't be wrong, it was good. But as far as the best, the Ananas, I guess how you pronounce it, it's like bananas with no B. It was a pineapple cider aged in rum barrels.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
If you've ever been to Disney World, they have a soft served pineapple ice cream you can only get there at Disneyland called Dole Whip. That is what it tasted like, but alcoholic. It was fantastic. Dude, we were all like, holy crap. I mean, if you had that cider by a pool on a hot day, you got to be careful.
over.
Yeah,
Like,
go through a lot of it.
holy cow. It was one of the best ciders I've ever had. And as sweet as that sounds, it wasn't
No,
really.
it wasn't tart. It wasn't sweet. It was a beautiful mix with the fruit. Oh, it was great.
And then
so jealous.
The last one I'm going to bring out, and this is one's going to kill you. Castle Church Brewing. So it's toward the end of the day. We did the VIP ticket, so we were in there in the first hour. You're in there alone, and you got some cocktails in the VIP cocktail area, which were some
We
cool
were having
craft
some
cocktails.
like
It was great.
mango, whiskey, bourbon stuff.
Cool
and
old
yeah.
man drinks made with weird craft liquors, but. So we just were like, well, let's go around as quick as we can, just trying stuff. And then when the crowd really gets in, we'll go get food was kind of our idea. So we did that. And but there were a few breweries we didn't get a chance to get to. So we're looking around going, we never had to wait in line. So who cares? We got to wait in line now, whatever. We'll go wait in line. So there's this really long line for this Castle Church Brewery. And I can see that all their taps have had their handles taken off except for one. And they're like 30 deep. And we're like, well, let's just get in line. Because everybody's in line. What are they hearing? People were saying like, oh man, this place is really good. Well, as we're sitting in line, we discover that the brewmaster is a former Lutheran pastor, that he left being a pastor to be a brewmaster.
Okay.
But he partnered with the Lutheran church. And so kind of like an old Abbey style, but now in the new world,
Right.
He made his brewery at the church or as part of it's in conjunction with the Lutheran church. So he's only got one beer.
So he doesn't have to pay taxes on his beer.
He's got, who knows? And I don't care. He's got one beer left, and it's a Kolsch. Now, I know what Kolsch's taste like. It's kind of you almost think of like I don't say like a golden lager, except that it's an ale because it's not bottom fermented. So,
Right.
But it's got a bit of sometimes a lot of yeastier flavor to it, or whatever. But it's crisp, refreshing, like kind of beer. Well, so we get the pour, and I don't realize the brewmaster is the guy like who's not pouring it, but he's like near us. And I take a sip, and this Kolsch is so peppery tasting and lots of yeast and ester. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Is so different. I said, this is a Kolsch, and the guy pouring it's like medieval Kolsch. That's the brewmaster. So we walk over to him, and we're like, hey, man, what's with this medieval Kolsch? He goes, so when Martin Luther left the church, or left the Catholic Church, there was a nun followed him, and they got married. And his nun was his wife, the nun, was a brewer. This is her recipe for her Kolsch.
Katie's Kolsch is the name.
So it's like a historical recipe based on Martin Luther's wife's brewing recipe for this Kolsch.
Bora.
And it was awesome. It was so, to call it medieval Kolsch, it sounds right. Like because it's not like today's like clean and filtered and not that it was dirty, but you know what I mean? Like a very,
right.
It had a lot going on. And it was awesome. You drink
Martin Luther nailing stuff to the church door.
Yeah, the 99 Theses or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Martin Luther,
wow.
the guy who started the Protestant Reformation.
Right.
Yeah. So his wife was a brewer. She was a nun. Left church.
The history of beer is our next podcast.
Isn't that awesome? And
that
to me,
cool.
when we ended the day, I was like, that's the coolest beer we had. We had beers that were better or whatever. And I don't even know if I'd call that beer. I don't know that I'd sit around and drink a bunch of it, but that was awesome. Like, that's just cool.
Wow. So the question is, I'd have been there all day. How did they come across that recipe?
I'm going to imagine the records of the church.
Somewhere in the church.
That they kept the recipe around. But that's awesome. She was a brewer, so like there's a whole the history.
Could you imagine trying to brew that for the first time by whatever recipe was handwritten, a few hundred years earlier, trying to like
Actually, how do we replicate this? Because you're
the ingredients are all different.
But it's cool because the company known for doing that kind of stuff is Dogfish Brewery, where they go and kind of do the biochemical
Midas touch and
it's the chemical biology,
right?
Or not the chemical archaeology, where they'll try to determine what was in it and recreate it or whatever. So, but I don't know many other breweries that also do, but that's freaking awesome.
Man, that sounds like such a cool time.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
It was a good time. So that's the beer report.
Yeah, and we went with two friends of the pod. Awesome to spend time with them, Charles Gray and Savannah, and we had a blast and just hung out. It was open about 5. I think we left about 4 something, just because at that point all of the beer was gone for the most part. A lot of tents were down and stuff, but awesome time. It was beautiful out.
And you know what's cool? We were sporting our new Brewtiful Game t-shirts.
Yes, we were.
And people loved them.
We got stopped by.
Awesome.
Where'd you get that shirt? That's so cool. I want one. And then we would tell them about the pod. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool.
And if you're wondering, you can go to thebrewtifulgame.com and click t-shirts, and you can find them too. Made by Divinus Tees. Get some there. And I think the ones on the website are in gray, purple, and red. But if you've got a different color you want to support your club.
Purple one.
The purple one is the best.
On his today was the purple, and
it's awesome.
That's good. Hey, Ferris, you and I got to get a red one.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I was going to get Ron a blue one, but I didn't think the blue would work with the black ring around. We got to work on the logo to make it work with a blue shirt for your.
The purple looks awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
I can't wait. I'm going to wash it and wear it.
But we met a lot of cool people. It was a very fun time. Everybody was in a good mood. Weather was beautiful. You couldn't have asked for better for a beer festival. So well done by the Orlando Weekly putting on their beer festival.
Wow, awesome. Good job, gents.
It's okay. You were still having fun in Japan.
Oh yeah,
eating blowfish,
right? And
which was amazing.
Meat that looks divine on Instagram, and then go into a vending machine with beer.
Yeah, I just stopped looking at Instagram. I was like, I'm just hungry.
All I want to do is eat now.
On Instagram, the beer machine, like tons of people that's got like 100 views or something.
Look, it's so crazy. Yes, it's the other side of the world. We got technology like you just did. We can see the stuff exists. Why don't we have this stuff?
Me and Ron were talking about it yesterday. I'm like, if we had it here, it'd be something that wouldn't work half the time. There'd be an out of service thing on it.
It would work all the time because it'd be in the corner of this studio, and Ron would make sure that it worked.
That's right.
That's right.
But if it was out in like society here, it would pour you like a Bud Light that would be like all foam and look like it would be.
We gotta get like robot brewery. That's
right.
how we do it. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah, and all the stuff is, robots that make, pour, dispense beer. It's going to be the best, worst decision ever.
Best worst decision.
Yeah, just like the kegerator we made and then got completely wasted on Falconer's Flight.
Wait, we
IPA.
brewed an IPA with Falconer's hops and trying to get the CO2 just right to pour right. So you'd fill a glass a bit with too much foam. Here, drink this. Well, and we're back and forth we keep adjusting and adjusting. That beer was like 9.5% alcohol.
Right.
And after we had adjusted it for 20 minutes to get the pour just right, we were already
We're like 4 beers in each. And we weren't paying attention. We were just like, oh, this one's not right. Here, drink that one. And then I'd work on it while he's drinking. And then, nope, this one's right. So it took us forever to get the carbonation just right. But when we did, it was like half the keg was gone.
And then the next thing I know, our neighbors came over and was having a party with people playing poker. And our house was invaded by
it was awesome.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I suppose we should eventually talk about soccer.
Yeah, eventually. And why don't you start us off there, Blake?
Oh man,
Wearing a nice bright jersey.
Hell yeah, I got no hate cake this week.
Wow,
it's it's Arsenal owns Tottenham for 90 minutes for the most part.
Gunners blow away Spurs in the North.
They're lucky it was only 2-0.
Yeah, where did they go?
There were a couple opportunities Tottenham had, and then Czech had
a great game.
Couple of great saves that were really good.
Kane and Ali were both kind of fighting injury, didn't look quite fit, so, but nonetheless, like Arsenal hopped on them. The stats are pretty similar. Tottenham, possession wise, had the better stats. Everything else was pretty similar, but 2 stats kind of stick out more so than others, and it's not really a Tottenham side. Offsides stat, which you don't really look at a whole lot. But the offside stat for Arsenal, they had 8 offsides opposed to Tottenham 1. What that tells me, and from watching the game, Arsenal were going for it. They were attacking and they were going for it. And if you're going for it, you're going to have those offsides because you're going to be real close, or you're just going to be trying to score goals. They started Lacazette in this game. We've been saying it on the pod for ages. Why the hell will you not start your big name summer signing striker in these big games? And he had an impact. He had an assist in this game. He moved very well
Sanchez
off the ball.
had a good game together, yeah.
Very well. And the other stat was the corner kicks, and almost doubled Tottenham. Again, they're firing balls, at the goal. They're trying to attack. They're getting balls knocked out of bounds. Tottenham's having to defend. What Arsenal team was this?
And Arsenal played defense very well, too.
And their defense even scored.
Yes. Yep. Big German Mustafi gets that header on, and man,
brilliant header.
They were so fun to watch. I was in such a good mood. I was like, normally once the game was over, it's hard to sometimes walk out in Arsenal gear, but I was in head to toe going to shop at Trader Joe's afterwards, scarf and baseball cap and Arsenal kit. Like I was such a good freaking mood, hoping some Tottenham fan would see me and be annoyed, but nobody was.
They were all embarrassed.
I was itching for it. It was great. I mean, it was absolutely. They played so well that the only problem is, as the game wound down and it was clear that they owned it, you could watch Arsenal's soccer Twitter start to shift from elation to, why can't we play like this with these players on a normal basis? Right. The 2 Robbies on NBC really, to me, summed it up. When you have committed Ozil and a committed Sanchez.
Ozil was the player of the match.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
Where
amazing.
Did he come from?
Yeah. This is what this club looks like. If you play like this, they said 38 matches of the year. Look, just play 33 matches a year like this. You're a champion. That's the only frustrating thing. They were great. And what's interesting? Who's the next match? Burnley. I think the way that they play Burnley is very telling. Because they went to Tottenham, or they didn't. They were at the Emirates, but they played against Tottenham like they were playing against Tottenham, a great team that they were going to have to come out, hit them first, bloody them up if they were going to win the game.
Where's the Burnley game at?
Ooh, off the top of my head, I do not know. I apologize. But that's the thing. So they play against a top team this way, a top rival that they have not been able to. What, 2014 last time?
Yes, 2014 was the last time.
So it's been a bit since they've been able to get one past Tottenham. if they can play this well against Burnley, I know that's a weird sentence to say, although Burnley is doing well. But if they continue this kind of passionate play, well, maybe you're seeing a turnaround at this point for Arsenal in the season.
And that Arsenal Burnley game's a top 10 match. You have 6th and 7th in the table.
And then the next
same
match,
amount of points with a goal difference measured by like 3, and that's it.
You know, the matches after that is Huddersfield.
They're playing at Turf Moor.
So they're playing
That, you're right. Now, will they go away from home
against Burnley,
against a team that they should beat?
And then they're home against Huddersfield, and home against Man United.
And this is their longest streak at home in a while of victories.
8?
Yeah.
8? I want to say it's 8.
Maybe it's 8. But again, you're going to play this against Tottenham. If you don't come out busting butt against Burnley and then Huddersfield, then it's the same old situation, same old story.
Yeah.
Not to be doom and gloom about it, but I mean, if you can coach them to be this way against your biggest rival, who is also an excellent team, and yes, some players maybe a little not quite 100% fit, but you got to do that against the Burnleys and the Huddersfield to try and get in that top, or you're not going to get in the top 4. You're fighting for top 6 at best.
Consistency at this.
Yeah,
it's exactly it. This is not only a Beer-a-Palooza. What are we calling it?
Blake's Beer-a-Palooza, yeah.
Right. Before we move on to the next match.
A present.
A present wrapped in adorable, get a picture, Ron, your photo guy. An adorable lion.
I need the shot of him handing it to you.
Here you go. We'll recreate this.
What was it? The Moo Thunder, the Moo Thunder thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Sistine Chapel.
So now we've gone from Beer-a-Palooza to Present Palooza. All right. This is a fantastic wrapping job. I only make fun of it because that's what mine looks like.
It's definitely a guy's wrapping job there.
What do we got here? Uh-oh. Oh, my God. Some Arsenal bibs.
Usually because they just dribble all over themselves, and that didn't happen this weekend, but
that is amazing.
Home and away kit.
Home and away Arsenal bibs, which is cool because someone definitely got me a home and away Arsenal onesies. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
This is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
I'm glad I could give that to you on a game where Arsenal actually win, and there's not like Firefinger, hate take. Wow! Oh, hey, here's this Arsenal gift.
Yeah, it was kind of nice to I'm in such a good mood. I mean, sometimes I question whether I should throw on the Arsenal kit at all, because usually if it's a bad game, I won't even wear my Arsenal kit. You know what I'll wear?
Your Bournemouth kit.
Yeah, buddy. We all had good weekends, including our second team that we all enjoy.
Yes.
The Cherries.
One of our favorite players in the league,
Callum
too.
Wilson is
Callum
back.
Wilson.
Hat trick. It was such a good Premier League weekend. I enjoyed this so much.
4-0 over Huddersfield.
Man.
A proper hat trick,
And
too. Really good hat trick.
they were a man down
Yeah.
For a
for
large
the
portion,
entire second half, and they the possession for Huddersfield was 70%, and they still got blown out completely.
Those are old Leicester stats where you only have like 30% but 4 goals. Like
exactly.
Old Leicester, when they won the championship
2 years ago.
What a great game. I was flicking back and forth between the two. And just to see Callum Wilson on fire, and then Harry Arter, is that the other goal?
Harry Arter, yeah.
Yep. Great game, and Bournemouth needed it, and now all of a sudden they're in 13th.
Yeah, they jump up a bunch.
Yeah,
and they look like the Bournemouth that brought them up to the
Talking
league.
about turning around, they don't get relegated this year. Boy, this is the turnaround.
Right.
If Callum Wilson can continue to play like this, I hope they keep him.
With Stanislas and Josh King, if they can all keep firing like this and win the games that at this point, there's no necessarily games that Bournemouth should win, but they should definitely be in the games against a newly promoted side. These are games that they need to get points off of quick, because going away to the Cities and going away to the Uniteds, they're going to have a hard time with. Those aren't the points you're trying to get. You're trying to get points against teams that have just come up or that are struggling a bit, like the West Broms, who we'll get here to in a bit. These are the points you want to try to nick, and they did it, and they got it from just one of their strikers that helped them the entire way. And since he's been up in the league, has just had terrible injury after injury.
Yep.
But Great hat trick from him.
And what's crazy is the only stat Bournemouth is ahead of Huddersfield out of the entirety of the stats is clearances. That's it. Everything else went to Huddersfield. So on paper, they should not have won this game at all.
And that's mainly just because of the second half and being down a guy, you know?
Yeah.
They're forced in that position the whole match. But what a great game from the Cherries.
2 shorthanded goals.
And to
Hockey terms.
show, I mean, we obviously this last year was very similar in this respect. How tight it is in that bottom half, they leap up to 13. You're talking about a team that was like
4 points away from the bottom 3, which is good. It's a good start. It's 2 games now.
and with who's in the bottom 3, that might be all you need. We'll get to that as we go. So, well, you know what? Speaking of,
Right.
we can move on to the Burnley Swansea City match. Oh, I like your headline. Burnley put a cork in the Swans.
Jack Cork with a beautiful
That's a good one.
Jack Cork. That's probably the best one.
And I like that cork is italicized in the show notes.
Just
It's
to make
so
sure we
great.
get it.
Yeah, it's so you Ron Bergen it put a cork in the Swans.
Exactly.
I'm something
Bert Hapley.
Bert Hapley.
Bert
on-
Hapley.
on Parks and Rec. And this is a podcast.
Talking about soccer. But Jack Cork, who left Swansea in the summer, they sold him to Burnley. He's been playing outstanding. Had his first, or not, I don't know if it was his first, but got an England call up. Been playing great. I believe it's his first goal of the year against his old team. He didn't necessarily not celebrate. He didn't celebrate. He didn't do a Adebayor and run to
wasn't
the
a
other
jerk
fans
about
and take.
it.
No, not at all. He had a big smile on his face, and a team member came over and gave him a hug. So we couldn't really allow him to do anything, but he enjoyed it, and Burnley enjoyed it. And 10 minutes later, Ashley Barnes makes it 2-0, and that's it.
And with that, you're looking at Burnley with 22 points in 7th, but tied points-wise with Arsenal, Liverpool, and only a point behind Tottenham, who are in 4th.
Yeah.
Burnley.
And they're 4 points up on 8th, too.
Yep.
Again, 2 games. That's Sean Dyche. Just stay put.
Again,
I
stay put.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, man, money talks, but unless it's a better club, why you'd go to an Everton that looks like a sinking ship right now, I have no idea. Stay at Burnley, try to get yourself into Europe and restructure a deal.
right.
know?
If you get
Agreed.
Burnley into Europe, you stay.
If Burnley should re-sign him now, so he doesn't do that.
Right here, Burnley
Yeah.
is what Liverpool and Arsenal should be so afraid of when it comes to getting into Europe or not. Because right now, Arsenal, Liverpool seems to be fighting for those 5 and 6 spots. I have a feeling that's kind of be the season unless Arsenal really pulls it around. Burnley, that's who they got to watch out for. And again, that's Arsenal's next match is against Burnley.
Yep.
Ooh, that'll be a very telling game. For Burnley that defends well, just drop back 0-0. Take that point and roll.
Yeah.
That's
a win.
That's a win.
Yeah.
So
And they lost the possession battle. Again, another team who completely blanked a superior possession game in the other team. It was 60 to 40%. So, but they had more shots on target, more shots overall. They didn't have as many touches or passes. So Burnley making it happen, even though Swansea really possessed the ball.
Well, before we talk about dire, awful teams, let's go to the next beer because our beer's empty, and I'm going to need one before I start talking about this next match.
All right. So,
Because woof.
But it was a fun wolf.
It's boy. I
At
mean,
least goal
was it
scores.
really?
It wasn't like it wasn't 0-0.
you're right, but it shouldn't
but
matter that much.
But
for a
none of
club.
this was. They weren't like, bam, look at that goal. It was like, oops, that went in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there was
Let's
we'll
be
get to it
honest.
in a second.
We'll get to that other match that happened this week with a little Palace Everton action. Woof.
All right.
Club's in trouble.
The next beer is an old standby favorite of Mr. Blake here. The history of this beer, and this hint will give it away. But we had a very select.
Boom shakalaka. This is my favorite.
We had a very select anniversary beer.
60th anniversary.
'Why
60th.
did you look at me that way when you said that?
Because if you haven't had this, when you do, you will understand the greatness. I couldn't find a 60th.
If you did, you would have dropped some money at this point for it. I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
But this particular beer from St. Bernardus, the Abt 12, is a brilliant beer. And right after Blake and I had it for the first time, we got 60th anniversary.
Well, and this is the beer that turned us to, I need to have everything from Belgium.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes. This was like our first amazing Belgian style beer. And it was our first Trappist beer.
Yes. Trappist style. I don't think they're actually Trappist. It's St. Bernardus. I feel like St. Bernardus might not be.
It's St. Sixtus, but they brew under St. Bernardus. So it is,
got you,
it's still Trappist. But, so anyway,
I knew there was something weird.
we found a 60th anniversary and we each got one bottle of it and we only opened it on special occasions. So that was some good beer.
Oh, I'm so excited for some St. Bernardus. Abt
A
12
lot of
is
saints
like,
earlier in the pod.
St. Bernardus Abt 12 is easily one of my
That bottle. Holy
favorite
smokes.
beers ever. Ooh, we don't do many corkers in this show.
No, because it gets dangerous when we do.
Nope.
It does, but we got one here. Oh,
Speaking of cork, we
oh!
So a quick
A lot of
history.
dad
We're
jokes
idiots.
happening. This one.
We're idiots.
You talk, I'll clean the bottle off.
Okay. A quick history. In the late 19th century, anti-clericalism in France forced the Catsburg Abbey community to move to a village in East Flanders, Belgium. So this brewery, basically, all these people flee France because of anti-religious movement. They end up in Flanders, Belgium, where they start to make cheese and like jams and jellies and things like that to support the monastery and all that. So in 1945, the Trappist Saint Sixtus essentially takes them over, and one of the ones they call Abt 12 is born, and they've been brewing Trappist beers ever since. They have a whole bunch of different ones. Let me switch
Their
over here.
wit
Yeah, their
is one of
wit
the best wit. It's probably the most perfect Belgian wit you'll ever have.
Yeah, this one is at 10%. So it's
You had this, Ferris?
I have not.
Oh, welcome, my friend.
It's a Belgian quad that is not your typical Belgian quad because it's not as heavy on the malt.
It's sweet. It's got that Belgian
But it's-
candied sugar thing going on.
Yeah, but it's not as thick as your standard quad comes out normally. So this is a phenomenal beer. 10% ABV.
I mean, it's a heavy one for it, but it might be my desert island beer if I can't have any other.
It's the first mention of Belgian quads that we're going to have on this pod.
It's true. It's true. I didn't talk about the Chilean quads.
No, not yet.
Oh, man. I'm
So here we go.
No, let's hopefully when this cork pops off, it doesn't hit the fan above us and shatter.
Right, hit the lights and hits the computer.
I'm
and
a
then we don't-
professional. Stand back.
Oh, great. Those are
Oh,
some
Lord,
famous
yeah.
last words.
Man, I'm scared.
Oh, man. The anticipation is killing me. Oh, it didn't go pop.
Oh, boo.
I told you I'm a professional.
Oh, man. I'm so excited about this. St. Bernardus Abt 12. I just love everything they make, but this is like my favorite beer.
Well, Jack Corks, of course.
This is a good one for Blake's Beer-a-Palooza.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest, with their 60th anniversary was great, but we got to be coming up on the 70th soon.
Yeah, we might have
Can't be.
passed it.
Can't be far behind. Oh, it looks good in my Orlando Beer Festival glass.
Oh, yes, it does.
While Ron is pouring, I'm trying to think whether. I mean, there were just so many good breweries there.
Tactical Brewing was
Oh
another
yeah,
one.
that was fun.
Rock
Oh,
Brothers.
you have
down in Ybor was-
to
was
tell
good.
the drunken water fight story after this beer.
Oh yeah, because we so weird. I mean, it's
So
it's
random.
not like a good.
It was just because we were all so busy and under so much pressure
Yeah.
at work, and we very rarely got time to blow off steam. So when we did,
It was
this night
it was late, and it was like it was this apartment complex. I had not been living in Orlando that long, and it was me and Ron and a friend of ours named Neil renting an 3-bedroom apartment over in Metro West Orlando. with a lovely view of Walmart across the street. And we were doing these great Belgian beers, the St. Bernardus Abt 12. And I don't remember what was being discussed, but we were sitting there drinking these. And at some point, I finished like the beer and then I fill up out of the sink in my Belgian beer glass some water because we've just been sitting there drinking. And our buddy Neil is just yakking about something, talking about something. And I had like that perfect balance of no inhibitions. And I just threw the water square in his face from like inches away. And they had water in their glasses.
And it became a college girl pillow fight.
There was water dripping from the popcorn ceiling.
It was insane.
It was the most, you just nailed it. Yeah, it was such a random, like out of nowhere, just water all over the place. But we had been working so hard. And it's that whole thing of like, working. You get your friends together, you crack a beer, you go, oh, it's been a while since we hung out, man. Oh my God, it's been crazy. And you don't realize how quickly you're drinking this 10%, alcohol Belgian beer.
So real quick, if you have never had St. Bernardus before,
it smells so good.
They have 7 total beers. They have the St. Bernardus Triple, which is easily my second favorite triple on the entire planet. The St. Bernardus Extra 4, which is 4.8 ABV. The St. Bernardus Pater, which is 6%. St. Bernardus Prior, that's 8% ABV. And then the Abt 12, which is 10 ABV. And the St. Bernardus Wit Beer, which is 5.5.
And is awesome.
And that one was the Wit Beer is a collaboration with Pierre Celis, who is a very famous French brewer.
Yes, Pierre Celis.
And then
I know him well.
And then you have jerks. The Groton beer.
Pierre Celis, bring me another with the beer.
Which is the Belgian dark ale. And then another, this is the only time I think you've had a St. Bernardus. We had on the pod last Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
The St. Bernardus Christmas ale, which is only available during winter and amazing.
I feel like I saved that one to the end, too, because we figured it would be the best.
Right.
All right, gents. Ferris, welcome to the St. Bernardus Abt 12 Club. You're going to love this.
Thank you.
Cheers. Holy crap.
Wow.
A very smooth,
Very
not syrupy, but
it's like a fine wine of beer.
It's perfectly
Don't
sweet.
taste like the alcohol is not overpowering for 10%.
You can tell it's stronger, but it's not like a punch in the face
not at all.
It's so good.
Yeah, and this one opens up a lot as it gets just a little bit warmer.
Yeah, I'm a little bit on the cold side with it. It should be anywhere from 52 to 56, and we're like right at the top of the 40s right now.
Which gives us a chance to talk about a turn of a couple of teams to let this warm up a little bit. So the next match, I'm being really harsh on these folks.
I was about to say, wow.
It's because we were so happy talking about all these other matches, and then we got the Selhurst stalemate, as you put it. Crystal Palace and Everton 2-2.
It was a 2-2 game. So it wasn't terrible. It was entertaining.
No, it's just
like this haze and fog that was in Selhurst. There was a goal in the first minute, a penalty in the 6th.
Yeah,
it all seemed so accidental.
It seems like it seems like they fell into the ball, which then fell into the back of the net.
Yeah. That's why I don't think this match was that exciting.
It was supposed to be 1-1
because it was like, which one of you is going to?
I couldn't even get that right.
Yeah. Yes.
Which one of you is going to win accidentally?
Yeah. Two teams that desperately needed the 3 points and not one.
Right.
I mean, I know a point's a point, but they actually aren't in that spot where it's easy to say that. I mean, Everton's doing the best at 16th right now with 12 points. And yes, that's only a point, keeping them away from, actually with their goal differential, negative 12.
Yeah,
negative
they're
12.
12 and 12.
Oh,
There's 12
God.
games played. They're minus 12 and they're on 12 points.
They're awful. Guys, what if we have a year that Everton gets relegated.
I don't think it's going to happen. They're still trying to find a coach. They're talking Marco Silva right now.
We have a friend at work, and she's a big Everton fan, and she is so afraid if that happens.
She must be beside herself.
To her. I'm like, we won't be, but our buddy that's a Liverpool fan, I can't promise anything.
Miss Lukaku something fierce because nobody can put the ball in the back of the net with any sort of skill.
Dude,
except for Leighton Baines at the penalty spot.
That's
and Omar
crap. That's
Niasse, who's had like 3 or 4 goals this year, all of which he's fallen into.
Yeah, but that's crap. I mean, you're right. They miss Lukaku, but you don't get -12.
Yeah, where's Michael Keane and Ashley Williams been?
Yeah, where is the back line? It's just brutal.
James MacArthur scored a goal in this game. The great knight himself scored. I don't even know if he was a knight or not.
I don't know, but James MacArthur. It's a great Scottish name. Again, Everton's sitting at 16th, a couple above the relegation line. But I'm just saying, hey, West Ham's struggling too, but they're a team that don't be surprised if it's not a toss in the coin in the air by end of the season as to who you think is going to be that top team in the relegation, that 18th slot, West Ham or Everton. I think a big club like that is going to go down. You heard it here first.
I think the
probably not first. You heard it in this
better
room
team
first.
in this that actually looks like they may somehow crawl out of it. I doubt it, but Crystal Palace, since Roy's come in, they've had a little bit of a good bounce. Zaha's back. They looked better of the two in this. Yeah. They had 16 shots, 7 on goal. That was negative 70% possession almost. 69.
Hold on. They have to overcome.
Right. Yes, I know, but if you're taking a positive away from a team in this game, it wasn't Everton taking a positive away in this game.
I would agree that
it was.
If you look at the track record, the one that even if it's an incremental increase would be Crystal Palace, whereas Everton is kind of plateau and dipping. Crystal Palace has got nowhere to go but up. Or
no, they don't have. They have plenty of room to fall and get relegated.
They've won and drawn 2 out of the last 5 since Roy has been there. So, and they've lost 2. Or 3. It's not. It is.
But this way, Everton's terrible. You need to win that game.
Yes, you do. Everton plays Southampton, West Ham, which they'll probably draw the West Ham.
It's West Ham and Everton will both lose that game somehow.
Or the games would be like 6-6. Something obnoxious.
Yeah, like they desperately need to win. It's 12 goals scored, but it's even.
It'll be like the Crystal Palace match last year where it went 9 goals. Remember that one?
Yeah, right, it was the Palace and Swansea match.
Yeah, and it was like goal.
Bob Bradley's first win or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they play Huddersfield, they play Liverpool, Newcastle, and that gets them
relegated.
That gets them into mid-December.
Not a bad run.
It's not a bad run unless your name is Crystal Palace.
It's not like
it's not pushover.
They're going to lose to these teams like they're playing Chelsea, Man U, Arsenal, Man City.
But don't worry, Arsenal and Liverpool will lose to them somehow. Match that's what'll happen along the way. Maybe not this year. I don't know. Liverpool that could happen there. They're still up and down too.
They're wavy.
Crystal Palace is just. I do agree. I feel like even though Crystal Palace is obviously clearly sitting at the bottom, it's Everton I feel worse for. There's no reason they have enough talent defensively to be comfortably sitting in the middle of the table.
They spent enough to
yes.
Agreed.
Who's gonna? Yeah, I don't know
who are they gonna get in
as a coach. Yeah, what are they going to do?
Looking at Marco Silva, Sean Dyche still.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting either one of them.
I don't think so either. And why would either of them want to leave Burnley and Watford 7th and 8th in the table to go all the way down to 16th?
Yeah.
Yes, Everton in terms of clubs and worldwide, yes, Everton's very well known, a lot more so than those 2 teams. But those 2 teams, Burnley and Watford, are going up. Everton right now is looking completely like they're going down. So I don't know who they get in. I think I said on the pod last week, Thomas Tuchel, the old Dortmund coach, I think he could come in and at least get them playing a little bit more expansive and
anything at this point.
And possess the ball more and score, opposed to getting 70% possession against you and just having a bad back line, no midfield.
They could bring in Tony Danza and have a better season.
Mona.
Yes.
I would pay to watch that in a heartbeat.
Could you watch him on
Who's the boss? Don't know.
Could you watch him in the technical area? That would be the best.
Mona. That's all I can think of.
Crystal Palace's schedule going forward into mid-December. Stoke, then West Brom, Bournemouth, which they'll probably tank that one, and definitely, and Watford, and Brighton Hove and Albion is in that too. So that doesn't look like a whole good schedule for them.
No. Although it should be noted, sitting only a point above Everton, though they are in 12th place, is our next match with Leicester against Man City. This is also a pretty good headline, too. Jesus De Bruyne is good. Also italicized. Did she think I said, "Hey Siri"?
Yeah, she totally did.
I love that "Hey Siri" just fired off.
Oh, man. City are very, very good. And
I don't know what else to say about it.
Kevin De Bruyne is real good.
How many points will they win the Premier League by? That's the
70 million. At this point, no clue. When will they lose?
12. I say
12.
They're gonna.
When will they lose? Will they lose this year? Could we see a
schedule.
invincible year? The last one to do that was Arsenal under Thierry Henry and the 90s. You could, but they do have some injury concerns now. John Stones is going to be out for a few weeks. You still have
2000s, like 03, 04.
What's Invincibles? Yeah, you're right.
They have a pretty soft schedule, so they're going to do really well.
I don't think City and United don't play until sometime in December.
December
10th. Yeah.
You have Southampton, and then West Ham, Man U, Swansea, then the Spurs. So those are probably your two hardest games: Man United and Spurs. Then Bournemouth. Bournemouth is firing well, but I don't think their defense is going to be able to stand up to Man City. Then Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Watford. That takes you into January. That's a soft schedule.
Yeah.
For most of December.
The concerns they could have, and where I was kind of going earlier with it, is they do have some injury concerns right now. John Stones looks like he could be out for at least 6 weeks. They still have Benjamin Mendy out. They're having to play Mangala and company. Company was borderline almost going to be sent off in the first half.
Got a little
to
lucky.
bad tackle who has been class when he's been healthy, but hasn't necessarily shown that since he's
third
played
minute. In the third minute, what a rash, dumb,
very
challenge.
rash challenge. And you have Fabian Delft, who has kind of done the who's a left back for Liverpool that was converted from a midfielder to left back last year. Took all their penalty kicks and stuff.
Wow, his name is on the tip of my tongue. I have to look it up.
Anyways, Delft,
I just totally drew a blank.
Midfielder, has been converted to like a left back for them. Has played quite well, but again, he's not a defensive at heart. You know, he's more in the midfielder.
We're
talking about playing Kyle Walker as
Sure.
center back.
I just think that when you can score like they do, it makes your defense that much better because every club
when you
is
have
playing deep. Like
De Bruyne, oh man, he
could score
so
from the
fun
press
to
box.
watch. He created the second goal on a quick break, a beautiful ball, cross field through ball that was brilliant to Sane, and then hustled to get just outside of the box, and on his wrong foot is just a screamer to the top corner. Dude's wonderful.
Every week he's putting in. Last week he put in a brilliant early cross with such pace on it to Aguero, who just had to nudge it toward goal, but curled it right around a defender. He and Fabregas have that skill where they can be on a flat out dead run and put the perfect ball in front of someone. It's just uncanny.
they're ridiculous.
What is that Liverpool's left back name?
They're ridiculous. Well, you should look it up because our next match is to discuss Liverpool.
Lovren, Clavin, Marino.
He wasn't on the. He took all the freaking penalties last year. Oh man, killing me.
You know who I miss from Liverpool? Skirtle, because it was fun to say.
Martin Skirtle.
The thug himself.
Yeah, Squirtle. It's just fun to say. A little Pokemon name. A Pokemon that would eat your face. It's true. Squirtle was a monster. We all know that. But speaking of Liverpool, they beat up on Southampton 3-0. The top clubs, with the exception of Tottenham, had very good weekends.
Yeah. And they, with the exception of Arsenal, really, the top teams all kind of had a soft week.
Yeah.
But Liverpool, 60.
Although, Southampton, not a pushover.
No, but not someone.
They're not a 3-0 pushover.
Right. You're going to probably, squeak that one by 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that. But
Salah still on fire.
yeah.
That guy's good. He had a beautiful curler in this game.
Liverpool dangerously flirting with getting in the top 4. I feel like that's going to be the headline for their season. Much like the Arsenal conversation, if this club could show up every time,
Right.
dangerous.
James Milner.
Milner.
There it is. Good Lord.
Samsonite.
Way off.
They'll never get old. We'll never get tired of saying. If you don't like that, you should probably stop listening now.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It is a personal problem. And then Philip Coutinho also.
Coutinho had a brilliant score in this one. Just cool as you like. And then that guy can make it look so easy under pressure. It's incredible, his
He's
skill.
a little magician.
Magician. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Little magician. Hey,
He did good.
Oh, never mind.
I thought he said midget the first time.
I was trying to say
like, what
magician,
is-
but then I went musician, and then yeah.
It was pretty entertaining.
I don't really much say other than Southampton did not really show up. Liverpool was.
No, they did not, and it was I heard. What was it? The football ramble deemed this as the Virgil van Dijk derby because of the because Liverpool were going after Van Dijk, and then Southampton went, "You can't do that. You can't tap up our player," and Liverpool were like, "Oh, we're sorry, we'll back off." And Van Dijk clearly wants to leave. He doesn't want to be out to Southampton. He hasn't looked anywhere near the player that he was, all of last year. So who knows? He may go in January, but.
Southampton, 5 total shots, 0 of which were on target the entire match.
It's not good.
Nope.
Nope. Especially against a team like Liverpool.
And they're at 14th right now with 13 points and a -5 goal differential. For those of you playing at home.
They'll be all right. But
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. Let me tell you who's not fine. It's West Brom, gents.
Oh,
no, they're not.
man.
Chelsea shows up and just whoops the long ball 4-0. Jeez. I mean,
what a
they
great match.
beat West Brom so bad, they kicked Pulis like right out of the stadium. What's your headline? Pulis ran into a Hazard on the road out of the Hawthorns. It's the italicized emphasis that cracks me up. Pulis ran into a Hazard road out of the Hawthorns. You're so proud of yourself.
That was kind of sneaky good. He had 2 goals from the Belgium quads, and
If you could
an
see
assist from
Ferris's
Morata.
face
He's so proud.
right now,
That was a good
he is super proud.
Hey, but Chelsea looked like they did last year in this game. Morata, what a player he is! I really wish he would have signed for United because he's a silky smooth player. He has good pace for a big guy. Has a great shot. He had an awesome assist in this one. I think it was for the second goal where he just like back flicked it on perfectly to Hazard, who was cutting he just knew right where he was going to be, and he's really fun to watch. And yes, he's not Acosta. He's not going to get in somebody's face if they're in a scrap where it's a 1-1 game. He's not going to get in somebody's face and get them that that 2-1. He may get the goal for 2-1, but he's not going to be that villain type that is just going to kind of put the team on his back and throw a punch or anything, Yeah. But he's still a lot of fun to watch. He's very talented, young,
Very creative.
They got themselves a wonderful player,
Now
and he's great for my fantasy team.
Now
too.
that he, Hazard, and Fabregas are really starting to click, the creativity is really exponentially rising. They're creating so many fun goals of late that they're only going to get better all season. And this match particularly was absolutely Fabregas because he had two really nice
Beautiful balls
assists.
from you.
Yeah, two really nice assists in this. He gets a yellow card in the 50th minute for kind of a professional-ish foul. But by and large, it was all Chelsea. 61% of the possession, 11 shots, 7 of which were on target, and 4 of those scored.
This is why for me, it's all a race for the 4th spot for any other club. I don't really see Chelsea and Man U falling out of the 2nd and 3rd spots at any spot.
Okay.
They're just too. I feel like Man U and Chelsea are too strong. Man City is in the stratosphere. The top 4, it's just a race for the fourth spot.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that.
And Chelsea moved into 3rd with this, and if they're catching their form right now, which it looks like they are, they could make it real interesting. All it takes is Man City to drop a game, and then things start to get even more interesting.
Yeah.
So,
and then it just becomes who can capitalize on that deficit.
They could still play into this, and who knows? They have the talent to do it.
And excuse me, another player that's really starting to shine for Chelsea is Bakayoko. He is really coming into his own. Fantastic player, young French national player.
Strong, too.
Yeah, and he's fighting off defenders and creating really smart chances. He doesn't do... Typically, you find that players of his experience level and his age are kind of... I don't know, they're still figuring it out. So they're not making quite as smart runs, or the timing isn't quite right. But he is really picking it up and is creating very clever chances, pulling defenders and understanding the flow of Morata, Chelsea, and Fabregas. And he's going to be a real asset in the future.
Chelsea's good, folks.
They good.
They good. Speaking of good, next one is #Pogback.
Pogback, baby.
Man United 4.
Oh, we've missed him
Newcastle won with a
much.
quick first goal that I thought was going to make this game interesting. Turned out it didn't.
No, it did not.
Spoilers.
It did not. United kind of did what Pogba has helped them. You know how like in the beginning of the year when Pogba was playing it, they were winning games 4-1, 4-0. This was the exact same thing. Pogba was severely missed, and it showed in this game. Yes, it was just Newcastle.
Yeah, but I mean...
But Pogba's impact on the game...
Look, Newcastle's sitting at 11th.
Right.
I mean, they're not a pushover.
But he had an assist in this game that was... He created space out of nothing. Just because of his fancy feet work, he created it and put the cross into the back post from Martial. Like this chip cross after he created it all on his own. He's such a class above everybody when he's out there on the pitch. And it shows.
And it obviously it draws people to him and opens other people up.
Yes. And then you have, and the other thing in this is Martial and Rashford started the game together, which hasn't happened. So
this is one of the first times, right?
Exactly. It was an attacking lineup, and then you add Pogba into this, and he just an assist, a goal. He just dominates games, and he has been missed, and it's good to have him back. And he's such a strong, just runs like a gazelle. He's wonderful to watch. You know who else is back in this game here? Gents?
Yeah, and coming off, what was that injury?
ACL?
He tried a very acrobatic move.
Yes, he was supposed to be out 9 to 12 months. He was out 7.
He is the Chuck Norris of international
Chuck Norris wishes
football.
he was Latin.
When Zlatan does a push-up, he pushes the world down.
Exactly. He had a brilliant quote after this game as well.
He was bitten by a cobra.
No.
And after weeks of excruciating pain, the cobra died. I remember all Chuck Norris ones. Just apply them to Ibrahimovic.
Right.
They broke Ferris.
By the way, that's the terrible Chuck Norris joke about Chuck Norris that Chuck Norris delivers in Expendables 3 or 2. It doesn't matter. And it's delivered so poorly. Just watch it. It's a very bad movie. Trust me.
Just watch it. But Zlatan had a quote in this basically after the game was how he does not heal like
He's so
lions heal faster than humans was his quote. He compared himself to a lion. Dude, I mean, it's incredible. He was supposed to be out 9 to 12 months. He's back in 7 and trying a scissor kick, which he almost scored. It had not been for an awesome save by Rob Elliott. And
lions do not heal like humans.
He didn't miss a beat.
He is the only person I know as a player that might have an ego bigger than Mourinho.
And I love it.
On the same
it's
team.
been missed. Him and Pogba have been so missed because they have those personalities, those egos, but they also back it up on the field.
No. Pogba doesn't have that ego.
No, but he has the dab, the hairstyles, the emojis.
Pogba has the outward show of how good he is, whereas
He's flashy.
the over the top flashy thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Zlatan just speaks quietly and carries a big stick.
Beats people down and then karate kicks Phil
big
Jones.
Roundhouse kick. Yeah.
Jack
he's
Nicholson
brilliant.
tells Zlatan Ibrahimovic that he can handle the truth. I'm reading all these Chuck Norris jokes and turning them into Zlatan jokes.
Love it.
We should always do that every time we discuss Zlatan.
Yes.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic can hold his breath longer than the air. Oh, these are great.
They're funnier when there's Zlatan.
Zlatan
It's even better when
Ibrahimovic.
it's Zlatan.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic told the Fox what to say.
See, here's what's funny, though. Here's what's funny about that. It's funny when you say Chuck Norris. When you say Zlatan says, you go, wait, did he actually say that? Like in a press conference? Because it's every Chuck Norris
believe
joke.
that he says
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
once you change to Zlatan, it sounds like something he'd say.
I am trying to get a hold of it. He now has a clothing brand.
Of course he does.
And one of his shirts has like him morphed into like a lion's head. I'm trying to get it, but it's been sold out forever. So as soon as it's available, I'm going to get that shirt. I want it.
This is brilliant.
Did you notice the cute lion wrapping paper on yourself?
I did
You're
notice I should have put two and two together.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic once killed 100 enemy soldiers with a twig, and the twig did not break.
Believe it. Believe it. What was cool when going back to the soccer and not Zlatan quotes with
Zlatan Ibrahimovic can win a game of Connect 4 with only 3 moves.
That's a good one.
You serious, Clark?
You serious, Clark? Here's Eddie. Right. He usually eats these damn things.
All right, I'm done.
But when Zlatan came on, Lukaku did not go off. They played together and they looked well. So this is. I mean, having him back before the slew of games that starts to come in with the holiday season, finishing it up with Champions League,
right.
And then you got your like New Year's, Christmas, Boxing Day, boom, 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 boom games. It's nice to have somebody else that is class and can put the ball in the back of the net. He did not score in this game. He came very close, but he will. It's going to come. You know, he is world class. We have missed him. We've missed Pogba. I'm excited now to watch them because it's kind of bringing that united, especially at home, that feel back of just world class players with a little bit of flashiness and quotes after the game and Mourinho on the sideline. It's exciting. I'm excited to go into the next few months.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks are going to be really great. All the games going super quick. Like you said,
getting to that crazy Christmas run.
That means we are guaranteed to have some great Mourinho moments.
Oh, yeah.
Zlatan is a lion. We all believe it.
Yes, he is better than Chuck Norris. It has been proven.
Chuck Norris wishes he was Zlatan.
I still don't know what accent we do for Mourinho, but it's always that one. Match night! He needs to make another commercial.
Speaking of United... An old United coach made his way back to the Premier League yet again.
Who dat?
Moise Hughes.
Oh.
I really wish you could see his
You
face when
tried-
Blake and I were not
He
laughing.
tried to make a headline out of that one.
He also air drummed. He also air drummed the.
You're damn right I did.
Which works really good on an Audible show.
podcast, Moise Hughes. David Moyes returned to the Premier League yet again.
Moise
Back
Hughes?
for more. To West Ham.
Watford.
It shouldn't have been Moise who?
Well, Will Hughes got the first goal, so it was kind of a
It's a long walk down a short pier.
long walk. Yeah.
Watford 2, West Ham nothing.
West Ham sucks, guys.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're again with
They're
them or Everton,
circling the toilet.
we could see a big club go down. And you know what? We've got 3 newly promoted clubs that are doing great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And West Ham, who just last year moved into this multi-million-dollar huge London stadium, could be playing that multi-million-dollar huge stadium in the championship next year if they don't get their act together.
So, out of all of the 3 newly promoted teams, all 3 of them are in 9th, 10th, and 11th place.
That's crazy.
So they are perfectly mid-table,
And looking like they could stay that way.
and there are a host of, quote, better teams that are below them.
Everton. West Ham. Yeah. Leicester's lucky they're in this particular season where there are clubs worse.
Yeah. A lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, Watford beats West Ham. I guess we should move along. We still got a couple of things we want to talk
Charleston for
Hey,
Watford still continuing to be just a star for them. Had a goal in this again.
Hey,
I think he's
man,
like 5 or 6
Watford?
on the year. He's playing very, very well. Up there with Troy Deeney didn't play. Who's Andre Gray? Looking very, very well.
Watford, part of that group of clubs that is going to make that 5th and 6th spot a dangerous one.
Yeah, they're in 8th right now on 18 points with a -2 goal differential.
And they're a club that can keep winning. I mean, Watford's good.
That brings us to Brighton Hove and Albion. I'm sorry, Brighton and Hove Albion.
Still my favorite stadium in the Premier League.
Yep.
BMX.
I want
2-2 with
one.
they draw with Stoke City, and I think that is a great win for Brighton Hove over Stoke.
the draw.
Good point, you mean.
I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a win because Stoke should be way better than they are sitting in the table right now, because normally they are a 9th, 10th, 11th, maybe 12th.
They float
place.
comfortably in the middle. They like the West Broms used to.
Right.
And
they're sitting steady at 15th place. -9 goal differential on 13 points.
And to go back to West Brom, that we didn't really say this either. West Brom sitting just barely out of the relegation zone, right? So you're talking about Stoke and West Brom as 2 clubs that traditionally stay in that mid-table pretty well.
Yep.
Not this year. There are better clubs coming.
So the Gulls snap their 8-game losing streak and draw against Stoke.
My goodness,
Which is good. I really like watching the newly promoted teams do as well as they're doing.
heck yeah, man.
Absolutely. And I hope they do what a Bournemouth did last year. At the end of the year, when Bournemouth was like, hey, buy our jerseys for half off. Brighton's third kit, they didn't play in the third kit in this game, but their third kit is beautiful. It's this black with the neon. Oh, it's gorgeous. I want one.
Take 2, they're small.
I got to say, this St. Bernardus Abt 12 was delicious.
I'm still enjoying
That makes
it.
me so happy.
Because it was that.
You better hurry up because
Delicious.
we have another one to go.
Bringing
I understand.
heavenly
Don't
nectar
you worry about what I do over here.
All right. Yeah, because we got another beer to go. So drink along, my friend.
Ron?
What's
Yes.
next on the menu?
Oh, is Ferris done?
Don't you worry about it. You just do your thing.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
So this brewery is one that we have not had on the pod before.
Ooh.
And I don't think Blake has actually had it. However, the cover art is
Awesome.
is amazing. I'm sorry, the can art is amazing. The reason I said cover art is because if you haven't listened to the podcast very much, Blake is a fan and writer of comic books.
I read To a Tree comics a day.
And you're working on a Wild West theme
Wild West.
Yeah.
comic book, and so the art, the can art looks like cover art. It's a local Florida brewery from Sarasota. The Big Top Brewing from Sarasota, Florida.
Ah, cool. Also at the brewery festival,
Yes,
and
they were.
I didn't get a chance.
No, we didn't stop and get anything from them. I don't think.
It was there.
Well, because we've had some of their stuff before. Because you can buy it at
So I'm excited to have a little Big Top.
Big Top Brewing is called Big Top Brewing because if you're not from Florida, you probably don't know this, but Sarasota, Florida is a very big circus town. Tons and tons of circus performers.
Well, the Ringling Clown College,
the
right?
Ringling Clown College is there. There's there's a very famous art gallery right there.
It's not Salvador Dali. That's it's the art gallery that's there, and the Clown College is near it.
Right.
Isn't it across the street from that cool old antique car dealership?
Yep. God, I can't remember the name of that little estate. But anyway, so when the circuses aren't performing, they would all the performers would come down to Sarasota, Florida and hang out for the off season during the winter and then get back on the road and go perform at cities across the U.S. But Sarasota became essentially a circus town. So like Blake said, the Ringling Clown College is here, and one of their vaults with all the eggs is here. And if you don't know about the eggs, whenever a clown is passed through Clown College, they create the face and they put it on an egg and they put it in the museum.
Yeah, nobody has the faces don't repeat.
Right. So no face is the same. And that museum is here. So Big Top Brewing, that's how they got their name. Because when they decided to open the brewery, they wanted to honor the city of Sarasota and its history. So since it's so rooted in the circus, they called it Big Top Brewing. So the beer that we have is called the Ashley Gang Outlaw Imperial IPA.
That is an awesome name.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a resinous hop up front that lingers through a slight maltiness combined with an extremely smooth, medium dry finish. And we have it in cans, 9.8 ABV.
And it's an Imperial IPA?
It is.
Ooh, this one's going to finish me
And
off.
we're only going to do 3 this one, not 4. So we're not actually going to break our beers. Yeah.
Ferris decided not to.
I mean, unless we get to the end of the
this one was
pod.
so good, and then we're
I'm just
talking
saying.
the World Cup, maybe, yeah. But
Unless we get
if
to
not,
the-
I can save it. Don't worry, it's one of those
Check
ones I
out
can.
the art on the can.
Awesome!
it's
It is
awesome.
cool. Caught my eye
It's
immediately.
a very monochromatic color, very comic book noir style. Beautiful of this like cowboy 2.6 shooters. This look, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that? It's amazing.
Love it. Growing up as one of 9 children in the woods of Buckingham, Florida, John Ashley knew that chicken-hearted men are apt to be forgotten. What a great, oh my gosh. He soon represented the resistance against the system, crippling wealthy bankers and big city distilleries that undermine local moonshiners. This high-powered but smooth Imperial defies what you thought possible. At 120 IBU, 10% IPA, it's a reminder that you have to ignore the rules to make a statement. It always takes an outlaw to remind us the bigger picture isn't always the most important. That is one of the cooler write-ups on a beer.
That's a great can narrative.
Ashley Gang.
Great.
And I got to look this guy up. I don't know this story.
Well, I think that's just.
Did they just make this up?
Yeah, I couldn't find any.
Big Top Brewery, get it to me and let's write this comic book. Create this guy if this guy doesn't really exist. That's awesome.
Yeah, it immediately jumped out to us when we were going on the
Ashley Gang IPA
on the Blake's Beer-a-Palooza. But Big Top Brewing, Sarasota, Florida, 9.8% Imperial India Pale Ale. So that means it's going to knock us for quite the loop, which is why it's the last one.
The Ashley Gang, or for the soccer version, the Ashley Young Gang.
But
Right. The Ashley Yang.
The Ashley Young Gang.
If you look on the can, the notorious Big Top, that's all of the people that are major brewers, owners, and brewmasters.
Oh.
All done in Wild West pictures.
Like like you would almost see on some of the Wanted pick too. I like that.
Right.
That's awesome. All right, let's do this.
Cannot wait to try this one. Ooh, hashtag drink local.
Woo, that smells good.
I'm going to pour mine out so we can look at it.
I'm going to keep mine in a lovely, Brewtiful Game koozie.
Those are not for sale yet, but you can get them if you leave a review for us.
Yeah, we'll just send you one of those.
Yes, leave a review for us. Take a screenshot of it and send it to us on Twitter or email us or whatever. We'll get you.
Ooh, that's a dark
For,
IPA.
for all of you that have, we cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, and we've had a couple new recent ones. We need to get yours out to you soon. Ooh, this smells delicious. All right, cheers, gentlemen. Let's have a little double IPA and wrap up our discussion of Imperial. Whoa, that's a palate wrecker.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
That's
good.
Whoa. Real full. Lots of hops.
Mm-hmm. lots of hops.
You couldn't hear a dump truck right through a nicer glycerin plant.
That's delicious. Ooh, that's good. There's some fine hops. Good.
But again, you don't.
I mean, it's hoppy, but
it's not killer powerful.
It's balanced well.
Gunslinger 9.3 ABV. It is balanced very well.
That thing had 9 hops. It just spent them all.
Spent them all. This is eventually we're gonna have to make our Christmas vacation pod where we do 127 episods, and each episode breaks down every minute of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I really like breaking Ferris.
And he is broken.
Oh, that got me to cry. 9 hops.
He is as red as his Man United jersey.
Oh, you're an ass, Ron.
Oh, that just made me happy.
I love when we could do that.
That's great.
Makes me happy every time.
Well, speaking of making me cry, let's talk about World Cup 2018 qualified teams.
Let's.
Although the discussion is almost who's not in it.
Yeah, I think it's more about who's not in it than who is in it.
Well, let's before we go who the not is in it.
Although there are some teams that really earned a spot that aren't normally in it.
So running through the qualified teams, in pot 1, you have Russia, Germany, Brazil, Portugal, Argentina, Belgium, Poland, France, all teams that you would expect to be there.
Yep.
Right? Pot 2, Spain, Peru. Very good for Peru. They won against Australia in that two-legged
playoff.
Yep. Yeah. Switzerland, England, Colombia, Mexico, Uruguay, Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
Pot 3, Denmark, Iceland, Costa Rica, Sweden, Tunisia making it in. The Iceland, Egypt, Senegal, Iran.
Egypt. That's a rare
Egypt
one.
on the back of Salah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Pot 4, Serbia, Nigeria, Australia, Japan, Morocco, Panama, Korea Republic, and Saudi Arabia.
Morocco. That's a rare one.
Yes.
That's a rare one.
But some fun teams in there. And before we move on to the less notable teams, those are all the 4 pots that they'll draw from, I believe, on December 1st, Friday, December 1st in Moscow State Kremlin Palace. Before we move on, I have a World Cup special second baby gift for one Blake Braswell.
Also,
I know what this is. I'm so
in
excited.
a lion wrapping. I'm surprised you couldn't find Zlatan wrapping paper.
Right?
Wouldn't that be amazing? His own designer wrapping paper.
Only thing Ferris would ever use.
The gift would wrap itself.
Yes, it would. I wouldn't have done anything.
But the problem is you can't open Zlatan wrapping paper because you can't rip it. That's the problem. What do we have here? A freaking Iceland onesie.
Yes, a vintage Iceland onesie. 6 months. So
Skull!
if your daughter is born next week, 6 months from now is about when the World Cup will be starting. Since the USA did not make it in, you said you wanted to support Iceland. Your baby can support them as well.
So she'll be sitting there drinking some Icelandic beer.
Yep.
And wearing an Iceland onesie. I love it. Oh, man, that's awesome. Thank you. That is so awesome. My wife was like, we got all these like clothes that are a few months older, and it's great. But for the newborn stuff, she goes, I realized it was all soccer related, so I've got to go find some other stuff to take that kid home with. Oh, man, that's awesome. Arsenal bibs and Iceland onesie. That's rad.
Oh, you got to
Brad
pose.
mentioned-
You got to pose with that.
Ding. Just in case you were wondering, we're going to make it through without an 80s reference. We didn't. Goal! I love this.
Light blue onesie with the vintage Iceland crest on there.
shield.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
shield.
shield. It's awesome.
So excited about Iceland. That's my team this go round.
My team is going to be probably sad.
Wait. We got to keep going through the rest of the teams.
Well, no, that was all the teams that made it. So Blake's is going to be Iceland that he's going to root for. This is going to be sad for me, but I'm going to. England are going to be my team. I'm Irish, Dutch, English. So the first two, they didn't make it, nor did the United States. So cheering on
I don't. My default is Iceland because of the amazing fans
Smallest
they have.
country to ever qualify.
Yeah, I really like that, but I don't have another team.
Well, I
Who's
gotta
your
say,
team?
Egypt is a cool one to have gotten in. Like,
Yeah.
Mine's going to be England and Morocco. I'll be cheering them on.
I got to find a second team.
What's your first team, though?
My first team is Iceland. I got to find another
Blake,
one.
do you have a second team?
I think,
You always have to have a second team in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think yes. And you know who it's gonna be? Tunisia. Do you know why?
No.
Tunisia is home to. When Luke
serious,
stood
Clark?
looking out to the binary suns of the Tatooine, the set of the Tatooine location of Luke that they used again in the prequels is in Tunisia. So, you know, it's like the planet Tatooine from Star Wars is in Tunisia. So that has to be my second team.
I'll root for Norway. Oh,
So you just kind of stay up in the Scandinavian.
I'll
Isles.
root for Scotland.
The,
Eh.
hey, you could root for Italy. Oh.
Yeah. USA, Italy, Netherlands, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Chile, Ivory Coast, and Ghana. Those are some big names.
Italy
Sitting home.
in a struggle bus playoff. All they needed to do was score a goal to get in for the goal differential, and they could not make it happen.
Who does that sound like?
Arsenal?
No, USA. We were in the
Oh,
same
yeah.
boat. We just need to draw
yeah.
the freaking game. We just need, there was, sad. No, Netherlands, they were in the final, 2 World Cups ago against Spain.
Uh,
I think that was-
2010, I believe. It was the
yeah, so
the karate kick to the
Yep,
chest against
'cause I was
Spain
in,
that the guy didn't send off for.
I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and it was the Dutch Netherlands a chocolate company bought the chocolate factory there. So it was all the people from the Netherlands were at the bar watching the game.
some big teams. I mean, it's a big followings of teams too. The Dutch, Italy, Ireland, who have anointed themselves as the best fans in the world.
Here's and I think our friends at World Soccer Talk will obviously be the place to kind of follow. We can talk about this news. The ratings will be less because the USA is not in it. I think that's a given. That's just expected.
Fox is mad right now.
However, there's a lot of good soccer to be had of a lot of good clubs. That
I
have
think
gotten
the
to this.
coverage is, I said this earlier, the coverage is going to be better because the U.S. is not in it.
Well, because they're going to have to, we have to work at this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We have to, for example, if I'm sitting there at Fox, I'm thinking, I have to tell the narratives of these other clubs, just like in the Olympics, when it's like, you don't know anything about this guy from like Uruguay, but he's got a great story. And they tell you his story. The next thing you know, you're sitting to watch his track and field meet, hoping this guy wins the goal because you've heard this crazy story about how he got there, whatever.
Right.
They're going to have to do that like they do for the Olympics.
They're going to have to tell the underdog story.
The underdogs.
The underdogs.
Doug.
That's a new special show coming on Nickelodeon. The underdogs.
Well, man.
But,
Smash Adams.
but it does force them to put on a quality show. Fox, I mean. So
And they're going to have to cover a wider array of games and a wider array of teams.
without everything being from the viewpoint of.
Yeah, and you also have your big name team. So it's not like it's complete doom and gloom. You have your France, who's exciting to watch, your Griezmanns, your Pogbas, Germany. I mean, Argentina. So Lionel Messi will be in this World Cup. So, excuse me. So will Cristiano Ronaldo.
And this could be his last World Cup too.
It very easily could be. Because remember, he already retired once.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had he didn't get
Sorry, about Messi. You went on.
right. It was after the Copa.
Copa? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Copa. They got to a final. They failed to win that. They lost to Chile.
Right.
Who's sitting at home for this
Crazy,
World
right?
Cup. Right.
No Chilean thighs.
No Chilean thighs in this. Nope.
No, but there are Belgian thighs.
You know what?
There are
Can
Belgian
can I
thighs
pick
in
a
this.
third team?
Sure.
Japan.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll pick a little Japan on there.
Oh, if I had to go third team?
There's some. Well, this is what I mean, though.
I go with the underdogs a lot, so I'm going to go Senegal.
If they've got to talk
I'm
about,
going to go Croatia.
you know,
Luka Modric, Mandukic.
I'm with you there.
Oh.
Played in a band with a dude we called the Croatian Sensation, and I would watch some of the UEFA
Amazing.
games with him when Croatia was doing well in like 07 or 08. I hope the coverage is done really well because I think there's a lot of great soccer, as there is at every World Cup, but I think there's a lot of great, not clubs, but countries to watch.
Right.
So I'll be curious. And World Soccer Talk obviously is a place that like they follow how people are watching, the ratings and those kind of things. So I'll be following that to see.
And if you want to know what games will be on at this World Cup, when, where, what times, what channels, all that World Soccer Talk, but they also have great commentary afterwards. Their articles that they put out is going to be great.
I think Blake hit it on the head. If they treat it more like the Olympics,
make it exciting. You got fun stories.
It's going to be way better if they make it like Senegal, had a 4-month bake sale so that they could make sure that they had the travel arrangements and
Senegalese cookies.
Like Morocco did all this and this is the struggle their team went through to get here. That is way more inspiring to watch than Spain, who has been dominating world soccer for however long, or Germany, who's been dominating for however long. Everybody knows them, but not many people know the Serbian team or the Moroccan team.
Hey, look, we just spent a whole chunk of time talking about how exciting it is. The newly promoted teams to the Premier League are doing well. Mm-hmm. Yes, that kind of stuff. If they really push that angle, it'll do a lot for them as they go forward. And I think that kind of wraps us up. We're a little long this day, we kind of missed out a little bit.
Medieval of you.
We had
we're very long this day.
We are very long this day. On this den, our podcast has run long.
VI saith.
But that was all wrong.
Gross. You didn't even say any of that right.
Yeah. It's not how this works, Ferris. Not how any of this works.
God. You don't even go here.
But we hadn't had Ron in the studio. It's nice to have you back, dude. Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Glad you made it
Good
back.
to be back.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought all these good beers too.
These Imperials are real good.
We mentioned this earlier, but I'll say it again. If you want to leave us a review, we'll get a koozie, a Brewtiful Game koozie out to you. Just take whether it's Stitcher or iTunes, whichever. Take a picture of it, zap us on Twitter
and
or wherever, Facebook, email it, and we'll get you. We'll mail you a koozie.
You get a cool magnet too while supplies last.
While supplies last, we're getting low on those.
And you can now get your shirt.
Oh yeah,
The Brewtiful Game got
if you go
BrewtifulGame.com.
Go to thebrutalgame.com. You click on the link that says T-shirts up top. It will take you to Divinus Tees, which is cool. It's
a local company.
A local company to Orlando that makes the shirts to order. Again, we've got purple. We've got red because we had to get red because we have so many of you that listen from Atlanta. I was like, there's no way we don't get a red version up
That's
there.
fair.
And then we have two red teams on the pod.
Obviously, Man U and Arsenal, but really, I was thinking Atlanta for our listeners up in Atlanta. So we got a red version and a gray one, which I was sporting out the other day. And if you've got whatever, color you want to do, they'll do a custom order for you, which is cool. That's one of the reasons we went with Divinus Tea, so you can actually get a different color if you want. But go to thebrutalgame.com, find us on Twitter at Brewtiful Game, find us on Facebook, Instagram, Untapped.
All In Sports Network.
All In Sports
24 Sports Talk.
Yep. Go on the website and listen to us as we play in a rotation with several other awesome sports talk shows. This week, their special guests are our Total Soccer Show. Are part of the network, and you can listen to us there and discover other. What's great about it, you get the app. You go to work, just hit play, and whatever podcast or show was on, maybe you get introduced to a whole new soccer show.
And they continually rotate through.
Yep.
So we or whoever else's show may be on multiple times throughout the week until a new episode drops.
All In Sports Talk on Twitter, and I think Facebook. You can
they'll let you know when
they
kind of give you a schedule.
Heads up of who's playing when or who's on. But a great way to discover new shows too.
All soccer all the time.
Heck yeah, man!
Pretty darn cool.
You gotta love that.
I think that wraps
Guys
us
that are
up.
much smarter than us talking about the game.
Oh yeah, we are easily the dumbest people out there.
Easily. And then we just toss beer into that. We're
entertaining though, right?
Oh, I no doubts. I mean,
we're entertaining to ourselves. Like we
Exactly.
crack ourselves up. I was crying earlier because you were like the
Name another podcast that had a tea light celebration about
Zlatan
Ibrahimovic.
So I went today to try to find something for that as well.
Yeah.
And what happened to the costume?
It failed me.
Oh,
I had a Lion King Simba mask that I was going to put on. I couldn't find it for Lion.
Oh man.
So I tried. But I do have the jersey on. I'm going to have to get the new jersey because he's number 10 this year, not number 9. But
Well, now I just feel like next Halloween we all have to dress up like someone. Actually, it's just going to be, I just want you to dress up like we'll say we will, but won't say anything. And then you get here like the kids on Stranger Things who show up to school and no one else is in costume. That's going to be you.
Yep.
But you won't care though.
I wouldn't
You'll
care
be like, yep, that's
at
cool.
all.
Little fake mustache and, well, that'd be amazing.
Oh, I could.
Except I'd say that's amazing.
Why didn't we do that for Halloween?
Except that the next time, like, if you surprise Ferris at his place while the game's going, he's probably just dressed like that.
He answers the robe. Or I'm sorry, he enters the door in a silk robe like Zlatan
the black
has,
belt tied around
right,
of course,
right,
yeah.
but with the lion mask on.
Mm-hmm.
I am Zlatan.
Oh my gosh, Ron! Before we get off the air,
Yeah.
one last thing. Read one more Zlatan quote or Zlatan
The best one
joke.
possible.
All right,
Find another good Zlatan Chuck Norris joke before we get off the air.
all right.
Then we'll do this. I love this.
Kids read comics about. No, this doesn't work. Sorry, moving on.
Is that a good one? Put the pressure on.
Yoda's judging you.
Yeah.
How about Zlatan Ibrahimovic tells the sun when to set?
Perfect.
Done.
On that note, we shall let the sun set on this show. Gentlemen, love the beer, cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he is a Swedish hero. On a free from PSG, we got him f***ing 0.